out to Michael Starr Hopkins, founding partner of Northern Star Strategies. He served on the presidential campaigns of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton as well. Good to see you again. So Michael, let's start with what Priscilla asked John Ossoff about there. This idea that he is up against tens of millions of dollars in negative ads. What else are Democrats up against there in Georgia?
You know, I think the big thing right now is Republicans' efforts to suppress the vote. I think it's smart for Democrats to spend more money on get out the vote efforts than it is on ads at this point in the election cycle. Voters know who they're supporting. They know which party they're aligned with. And so the real effort now needs to be to turn out voters. And I think it's smart to hear Ossoff talk about, you know, the stimulus payments and what's going on in Georgians' homes in terms of finances, in terms of stimulus funds, because that's really what's going to leave its mark here, especially given the outstanding questions with Senator Perdue and Senator Loeffler about insider trading.
Let's talk about this New York Times piece this morning, a new piece on the aforementioned Republican senator there, Kelly Loeffler. They write that she, in many ways, Michael, appears to be a traditional business-oriented Republican whose hard right turn is a stark reflection of the ideological gymnastics many politicians in her party have performed in the populist, culture-warring Trump era. The piece itself coming as Senator Loeffler is facing criticism from some religious leaders for her attacks on Raphael Warnock's religious views. Do you see those attacks as part of the Trump style that she's really leaning into?
Everything right now with Republicans is tuned towards conservative media, right-wing media, this reality TV show kind of narrative. And I think it's what's really hurting Republicans nationally. Now, there's some that will argue Republicans did better than they were expected in the House. But I would argue in the long term, what we're seeing is a Republican Party that's really struggling to find its conscience and struggling to find its purpose at this point. You know, you've got on one hand Republicans talking about law and order, but on the other hand, you have Republicans attempting to overturn the will of voters and in effect have a coup d'etat. You're having Republicans, rather than helping the voters and the citizens that they represent in Georgia, engage in insider trading and failing to give them information that would help them. It's laughable right now, and I think you're starting to see Republicans really distance themselves, not just from Trump, but from the brand itself.
My colleague Joy Reid caught up with Vice President-elect Kamala Harris after she campaigned in Georgia yesterday. This was Ms. Harris's pitch on the importance of winning the Senate majority that's on the line there.
But on some issues, we just know and have to believe that if we have the majority in the Senate, it may be easier to do things like get the John Lewis Voting Rights Act passed. And that's just the reality of it.
Michael, an issue like that, voting rights, how galvanizing can that be for Georgia voters in particular?
I mean, I think it's everything. John Lewis was a hero and someone who I admired, which is why I found the John Lewis Bridge Project. And I think in Georgia specifically, what you're going to see is people really turn out not just because of the ancestry and because of what it represents, but because of the future and where we can go forward. You're seeing brain drain in southern states all across the country, and you're seeing them go to places like Georgia. And exactly for that reason, because Georgia is moving the South forward. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see not only how this race plays out, but how Georgia and southern states like it move forward in 2021.
Michael Starr Hopkins, we'll leave it there. Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Do appreciate you.
Take care.
Could the incoming